In a future where society has become dystopian, Gotham City remains a hotbed for criminals even in the year 2037. A wealthy individual named Derek Powers has taken control of the city using his money and influence, and he has even acquired Bruce Wayne's company, which he has renamed Wayne Powers. Bruce Wayne is aging and will soon be too old to continue fighting crime as the beloved vigilante Batman. Following a mission that almost went awry, Bruce decides to retire from his heroic activities for good. However, the question arises, could someone else take on the mantle of Batman and become the city's new protector? The story opens in a warehouse, where a group of thugs has kidnapped Bunny Vreeland, a well-known debutante. Batman arrives to save her, but he discovers that the task is more challenging than it used to be. One of the criminals almost defeats him, and in a moment of desperation, Batman is forced to threaten the thug with a gun. This goes against one of Batman's fundamental principles, which is never to take a life, and he is shaken by how close he came to doing so. The police eventually arrive to apprehend the criminals and rescue Bunny, but Batman is left pondering his future. With his advancing age and his recent brush with breaking his own code, he is unsure whether he can continue to be Gotham's Dark Knight. The story introduces Warren McGinnis, an employee of Derek Powers who has doubts about his boss's honesty. He meets with Harry Tully, a scientist who also works for Powers, in secret. Tully gives McGinnis a disc and asks him to keep it a secret, but before they can leave, Powers and his intimidating associate Mr. Fix appear on the scene. Tully is drugged and taken away, revealing strange black marks on his body. McGinnis has a son named Terry, a rebellious teenager who enjoys wrestling to help him focus his energy. When Terry returns home, he sees his father looking at the disc but hiding it when Terry enters the room. The two argue, and Terry decides to go out to a club with his girlfriend. As they wait in line to enter the club, they are confronted by a gang of motorcyclists called the Jokers, who dress like the infamous supervillain Joker and cause chaos. The Jokers take Terry's girlfriend and flee, prompting Terry to give chase across the city. They eventually arrive at a mansion, where they are interrupted by an elderly man who uses impressive fighting skills to take out some of the gang members. Terry helps him, and they manage to escape. The old man is injured, so Terry helps him back to his mansion where he discovers Batman's secret cave. Terry is caught by Bruce Wayne, the man behind the Batman mask, who angrily chases him away. Later, Terry's father is killed by the Jokers, and Terry discovers a disc that suggests his father's murder was more than just revenge. Terry seeks help from Batman and calls him on the interphone at the mansion, expecting nothing but is allowed in. Bruce Wayne and Terry examine the disc in the Batcave, discovering that it contains information about a dangerous and deadly gas that Derek Powers has been testing in secret. Despite his anger at Powers' actions, Bruce instructs Terry to turn the disc over to the police and not take any further action. Terry is intrigued by the Batman suits on display and wonders why Bruce no longer wears them. On his way home, Terry is stopped by Derek Powers and his assistant Mr. Fix. Powers demands that Terry give him the disc, but Terry refuses and ends up knocking out Mr. Fix before escaping. Terry then steals a bat suit from the Wayne mansion and flies to the Wayne Powers building to spy on Derek. Although he initially struggles to fly the suit, he soon gets the hang of it and is able to use the technology to listen in on a conversation taking place on the top floor of the building. Derek Powers and Mr. Fix are meeting with Vilmos Egan's, a foreign minister interested in buying a powerful weapon. They show him the toxic gas that Powers has been secretly testing in the Wayne Powers building, and show pictures of Mr. Tully with black marks on his body caused by the gas. Powers promises to send a full shipment of the gas to Vilmos. Terry, who is eavesdropping, becomes enraged when he hears Derek talking about him and admitting to his involvement in his father's murder. As guards find him on the roof, Terry fights them off and makes his way to the Wayne Powers warehouse, where he continues to use the bat suit to his advantage in order to evade the guards. Bruce contacts Terry through the microphone in the suit and realizes that Terry has taken his suit and is currently fighting. Bruce initially wants the suit back, but ultimately decides to let Terry continue with his plan of stopping Derek's evil plot. Bruce even provides Terry with a tip to help him hide in the building, since he knows all of the secret pathways in the warehouse. However, Bruce does not want to hear about the rest of Terry's plan until Terry mentions his father's death, which Bruce can relate to. Bruce agrees to let Terry continue, and he tells Terry where to find the hovercrafts containing the toxic gas. At the hovercraft hangar, Derek and Mr. Fix are overseeing the shipment of the deadly gas, and many guards are present to protect it. Terry manages to approach Derek and Mr. Fix without being seen. However, the guards nearby notice him and try to capture him. Terry fights back and manages to get close to the villains, but they are guarded by more people. He fights against a giant mechanical arm and then confronts Derek. As Derek aims his gun at him, Terry throws a container of poisonous gas, which breaks and poisons Derek. Terry then jumps onto one of the hovering planes that were carrying the poisonous gas, and once inside, he confronts Mr. Fix. Mr. Fix initially laughs at Terry's Batman costume and tries to dismiss him as a fraud. Terry insists that he is the real Batman and they start to fight. Terry uses his electric brass knuckles to electrocute Mr. Fix and prevent him from controlling the plane. Terry manages to escape the plane and it crashes into the sea with Mr. Fix inside. The following day, Terry is awoken early by his mother who tells him that he has a visitor. When he enters the living room, he finds Bruce Wayne waiting for him. Bruce tells Terry's mother that he wants to offer Terry a job as his assistant as a thank you for saving him from the Jokers. Although they both understand that Bruce is really offering Terry the opportunity to take on the mantle of Batman under Bruce's guidance, Terry accepts the job offer. They shake hands on the agreement, and Terry becomes the new Batman under Bruce's orders. In the meantime, Derek Powers is undergoing intense radiation treatment to heal from his exposure to the killer gas. The scientists attending to him, who are wearing protective gear, inform him that he will recover, but there is a catch to the radiation treatment. Derek demands that they turn off the radiation so he can see his new appearance. His skin has turned an eerie translucent green, and his bones are visible through it. Derek laughs terribly in the end. The episode follows Terry McGinnis as he begins his first mission as the new Batman in a futuristic version of Gotham City. Bruce Wayne has high expectations for Terry, but it remains to be seen if he will meet them. When a tech company called Foxdecker experiences sabotage on their machines, Bruce suspects that the billionaire Derek Powers may be involved. The scene opens on Foxdecker's industrial buildings, owned by Lucius Jr., the former vice president of Wayne Company who was fired by Derek Powers when he bought the company from Bruce Wayne. Security guards at Foxdecker are monitoring a shipment of new technology products when a mysterious black liquid that can shape-shift, and seems to have a mind of its own, slips in unnoticed and causes one of the machines to malfunction, resulting in an explosion. The liquid escapes undetected as security personnel rush to the scene. The following day, Bruce meets with Derek Powers for the first time in a long time. Though Bruce sold his company to Derek, it is still called Wayne Powers, and Bruce wants to have a say in what happens to Foxdecker. He warns Derek to keep his hands off the company and says he doesn't want anything bad to happen to it because he has friends in charge there. Derek denies any involvement in the factory explosion. As Bruce prepares to leave Derek's office, he casts a suspicious glance at the black statues situated around the room. Once Bruce exits, the statues converge into the black liquid that caused the explosion at Foxdecker. The liquid takes on the form of a woman and warns Derek that Bruce may know more than he's letting on. Terry, who works as Bruce's assistant and the new Batman, is watching a futuristic soccer game with his girlfriend when Bruce contacts him. Despite his desire to keep his superhero identity secret, Terry knows that Bruce only calls when there's an important mission. He leaves his girlfriend, much to her annoyance. Terry meets Bruce in the Batcave where Bruce explains his suspicions about Derek, Foxdecker, and the Liquid Woman, Inc. Inc is an expert in corporate sabotage and has the ability to morph into liquid and other forms due to being a mutagenic experiment. Bruce believes that Inc may be working for Derek Powers, as both Foxdecker and Powers are competing to build a new lunar station, and Powers may be sabotaging Foxdecker to gain the upper hand. With this new information, Bruce sends Terry to watch over Foxdecker that night, dressed as Batman, in case Inc returns to cause more damage. Terry soon discovers evidence of Inc's presence as control boards begin to malfunction within one of the buildings. He enters a building to search for clues about Inc's whereabouts amidst the damaged machines, unaware that she is lurking and preparing to attack. Bruce Wayne observes the situation from the Batcave, and warns Terry to leave because he knows how difficult it is to fight Inc due to her unstable form and unknown weakness. However, Terry is too slow to react, and Inc overpowers him by dodging all of his attacks with her shape-shifting abilities. Terry is knocked over a control panel before Inc escapes through the vents. Later, Terry returns to Foxdecker on the Batplane, and Bruce shares his knowledge about how to defeat Inc., hoping that Terry will improve his quick-thinking skills. During the next attack, Batman battles Inc. on a pier, but despite having learned from their previous encounter, he still struggles to defend himself against her ever-changing form. He eventually discovers that her weakness is water, but before he can use this to his advantage, Inc. creates a diversion by infiltrating the ground and causing an explosion. Inc. meets with Derek Powers and informs him that Batman is impeding their plan, prompting Derek to make eliminating Batman their top priority. Later, when Batman returns to Foxdecker, Inc. distracts him by tampering with the machines and manages to sneak into the Batplane undetected. She remains hidden until Terry returns to the Batcave, and Bruce discovers her presence during a routine check. Inc. attacks Batman upon Derek Powers' request and constricts him until he can hardly breathe. Bruce Wayne intervenes with a powerful hose, spraying Inc. with water to weaken her. She breaks apart and Terry manages to escape her grip. Inc. tries to uncover Batman's identity by making her way up the Batcave, but Bruce had already prepared for this scenario and blocked the exit with steel doors, which electrocute Inc. upon contact. Furious, she causes the cave to crumble, but Terry keeps Bruce safe by dodging the falling rocks. However, Inc. immobilizes him by dropping a heavy piece of decoration on his leg, allowing her to continue her destruction of the cave. Terry finds a gun and shoots Inc., freezing her in ice. Bruce is pleased that Terry acted quickly and calls his friend Barbara Gordon, a policewoman, for assistance with Inc.'s captivity. Barbara is not keen on the idea of the new Batman, but Terry still leaves Inc. captured outside her office in a bag of ice. Bruce instructs Barbara to keep Inc. in the freezer to avoid any problems. Foxdecker is safe, at least for the time being. This episode focuses on Willy Watts, a socially awkward student at Hill High School who is tired of being the outcast. He has developed a crush on Blade, one of the popular girls, but Nash, a jock who often bullies Willy, is also interested in her. When Willy tries to stand up for Blade against Nash's advances, he is mocked and physically pushed aside. Later, Willy confides in his father, a muscular construction worker, about the bullying he experiences at school, hoping for support. However, his father tells him to toughen up and handle the situation himself. This leaves Willy feeling upset and alone, so he decides to take matters into his own hands. Willy plans to steal one of the construction workers' golems, which are large robotic machines controlled by a headset that allow the workers to lift heavy objects. One night, Batman hears about a stolen golem and decides to investigate. He tracks it to the mall where he finds Blade and Nash hanging out. Before Nash can ask Blade to the upcoming dance, the stolen golem appears and starts wreaking havoc. The only target of the golem is Nash's prized red car, and it crushes it underfoot, leaving Nash scared and running away, leaving Blade alone. Batman tries to stop the golem but cannot do much without finding the person controlling it through the headset. However, the golem eventually short-circuits after punching some electrical circuits, and Willy is also electrocuted through the headset, losing control of the machine. Willy realizes that he cannot do anything and runs away before the police arrive. The next day at school, Blade is upset with Nash for running away, leaving her at the mercy of the golem. She refuses to go to the dance with him and instead asks Willy, who is thrilled. However, Willy's happiness is only because he has to get back at Nash and not because he genuinely doesn't like Blade. Willy has been feeling a strong connection to the golem ever since the incident at the mall. He believes that the golem has started functioning again and has escaped from captivity, and he knows that he must find it. One night, he waits for the golem on a bridge leading to the prison and realizes that he can now control it without the headset. He uses the golem's powers to scare away a gang of jokers who were threatening him. On the weekend, the highly anticipated dance takes place at the city's pier, and many students from Hill High attend, including Willy and Blade. However, as soon as Willy leaves to get them a drink, Nash apologizes to Blade and convinces her to take him back. Nash insists on telling Willy himself and takes him to an isolated place to threaten him. Despite feeling angry, Willy refuses to submit and stands up for himself. Nash pushes him into the water, humiliating him. However, the golem is nearby, and after Willy climbs out of the water, he decides that he has had enough of the bullying and is ready to take action. Mr. Watts has been searching for the stolen golem since it vanished from the construction site. While passing by the pier, he spots the golem heading towards the party, wreaking havoc along the way. He knows he must go there to stop whoever took control of the golem before it inflicts more damage. At the dance, Terry and his girlfriend are enjoying a romantic moment when Willy arrives, visibly upset and soaked from being pushed into the water by Nash. The other party-goers laugh at him, but Terry's girlfriend offers to drive him home. However, Willy rejects the offer and insists that he doesn't need anyone's help. Suddenly, the golem arrives at the party, and it becomes apparent that Willy is partly controlling it. The golem seeks revenge on Nash, but Terry, now in his Batman costume, intervenes to save him. Despite his secret identity, Terry's hatred for Nash leads him to throw the jock into the water. Mr. Watts arrives and finds Willy amidst the chaos. He worries that his son may be in danger, but upon seeing the rage on Willy's face, he realizes that Willy is the one controlling the golem. Mr. Watts attempts to stop Willy, but Willy harbors deep-seated resentment towards his father for not being there for him in the past. Willy commands the golem to chase after Mr. Watts, who climbs up the roller coaster to try and escape. In a fit of anger, Willy charges up a laser to attack his father. However, Batman arrives in time to save Mr. Watts from falling into the water. Batman remembers what happened to the golem at the mall, and uses that knowledge to lead it onto a functioning roller coaster ride to short-circuit it again. Batman then destroys the robot by throwing something into its head. Willy is devastated to see his controlled robot destroyed, believing that he has lost all of his power. However, it is revealed that Willy has the ability to control other electrical machines with his mind. Willy is sent to a juvenile facility, but no one knows what will happen once he learns to control his new powers. The episode begins with Batman on patrol, keeping a watchful eye out since Derek Powers, the billionaire who acquired Bruce Wayne's company, attempted to ruin Foxteca. Batman discovers a group of trucks preparing to dispose of hazardous waste into the ocean, all of which belong to Derek Powers Corporation. Meanwhile, Derek is meeting with wealthy clients, attempting to persuade them to purchase his toxic weapons, but they remain hesitant. After stopping the convoy of trucks, Batman uses a truck driver's phone to see who he has on speed dial, and unsurprisingly, he is put through to Derek Powers. Batman boasts that he has prevented his convoy, which infuriates Derek to the point that his skin condition worsens, revealing something green and translucent underneath his peeled skin around his eyes. Following an exposure to toxic gas that Batman had thrown at him earlier, Derek is seriously irradiated and suffers from a rare disease. Derek is concerned that his clients will see him in this state, so he dismisses them. Later, Derek seeks ways to cure his body since his skin keeps peeling, exposing a more severe state beneath every day. Dr. Stephanie Lake, a female scientist who has recently joined the Wayne Powers Corporation, claims that she may have a solution. While the other scientists are dismissive, Derek is intrigued. She suggests that a new body could be created for Derek, and his consciousness could be transferred directly into it. The technology utilized by scientists to transfer consciousness into a new body is relatively new and unsteady, so Derek agrees to undergo the procedure only if they test it on someone else first. Dr. Lake identifies a suitable candidate, a decapitated head belonging to Victor Fries, formerly known as Mr. Freeze, who has been kept alive in a tank of liquid for more than 50 years. Victor consents to the experiment, having nothing to live for, and Dr. Lake creates a new body for him, successfully transferring his consciousness. Victor emerges with a new body and a desire to turn his life around, as he proclaims on television. However, Bruce Wayne remains suspicious of him and urges Terry to keep an eye on him. Terry follows Victor as Batman and witnesses him visit his own tomb with a woman. A masked assailant attempts to kill Victor, prompting Batman to intervene and neutralize the threat, despite not being assigned to protect Victor. A man, who has lost his family to Mr. Freeze in the past, wants to take revenge on him when he comes back to life. But surprisingly, Victor shows empathy towards him and apologizes for his past actions. Victor creates the Nora Fries Foundation to help the people he has wronged in the past. During a TV interview about the foundation, Victor starts feeling ill and returns to the lab where he discovers that his body is reverting and he will eventually die again. Dr. Lake decides to eliminate Victor by raising the temperature of his cell, but Victor escapes after breaking the glass with a table. Bruce thinks that Victor will seek revenge, but Terry hopes that he will start a new life somewhere else after witnessing his empathy towards his enemy. It turns out that Bruce's prediction about Victor was correct. The next day, Victor retrieves his old cryo suit and ice gun, and launches an attack on Derek's lab. He creates huge ice shards that destroy the lab and freezes Derek's minions, as well as Stephanie and Derek himself, seeking revenge. However, Derek's radiation reacts with the ice, melting it and his own skin, revealing his glowing green skeleton. In his new form, Derek can use his radiation to burn people and badly injures Victor, who is also made of ice. Batman wants to rescue Victor, but Bruce advises against it due to the danger. Terry tries to convince Victor to leave with him, but Victor decides to stay and face the consequences. Terry and Bruce watch the building collapse from a distance, unsure if Victor survived. Bruce believes that stopping Victor was necessary to prevent further harm, and Terry learns an important lesson as the new Batman. For a while now, Terry has been Gotham City's new protector as Batman, and has worked alone without any other heroes to assist him. However, with the arrival of new superheroes, he may have to reconsider his solo act and decide whether or not he can trust these newcomers. In this episode, we witness Batman catching a group of villains who have stolen a valuable piece of technology, but he is outnumbered and knocked out by the villains. A ghostly woman appears and freezes one of the villains, and is soon joined by two other heroes, a lava golem and an elastic-bodied person. Together, they form the terrific trio and stop the villains, much to the delight of onlooking civilians. Batman is left perplexed as to who these new heroes are and where they come from, but a TV announcement that evening reveals their identities as Magma, Freon, and 2D Man. According to the TV commercial, the terrific trio consists of 3 scientists who were accidentally exposed to dangerous radiation levels during a particle fusion experiment. As a result, their bodies were altered, and the government recruited them as a superhero team. They were also given a new headquarters, the Trio Tower, which was funded by the army. While watching the TV spot with Terry, Bruce Wayne is doubtful about the new heroes, especially since they're backed by the army. With the terrific trio now protecting Gotham, Batman's workload has considerably decreased, which makes Terry a bit envious. Additionally, the trio has their own merchandise and figurines, which adds to Terry's frustration. However, not everything is perfect for the terrific trio. They did not choose to become superheroes, and they are struggling to adapt to their new bodies. The Golem, whose real name is Dr. Mike Morgan, is particularly upset as he can no longer hold his fiancée's hand due to his lava-based body, while his fiancée, Freon, is made of ice. During a mission, Golem becomes more uncomfortable with his appearance when a little girl screams in fear upon seeing him during a hostage situation in a corporate building. Despite the terrific trio rescuing the hostages before the police could, the girl still cannot bear to look at Golem. Later, it's revealed that the terrific trio is still being analyzed to ensure their condition is not too unstable. Dr. Howard, their colleague and friend, is examining their samples. The trio is suspicious of him since he wasn't present during the experiment that caused their transformation, making them wonder if he knew the risks and avoided the radiation. Dr. Howard contacts General Norman, the army leader who helped finance the team, to inform him that the trio's DNA is extremely unstable and will only deteriorate over time, making it impossible to revert them back to their original human form. Norman is already skeptical about the team's success, and this news only confirms his doubts. Later that night, while patrolling Gotham, Batman detects a fire in a research center on his radar. He wonders why the terrific trio hasn't responded yet. When he arrives, he discovers that the Golem has caused massive damage to the building with his lava abilities and has stolen the trio's analysis samples. Batman tries to stop him, but the Golem is too strong and easily overpowers him. The Golem brings the analysis back to the Trio Tower, where they analyze the results and realize that their condition is irreversible. They are devastated and angry that their friend and colleague, Dr. Howard, had been hiding this from them. They confront Howard in the lab where the experiment that changed their lives took place, demanding that he confess to knowing the risks of the experiment. However, Howard denies this, insisting that he would have never knowingly endangered them. The trio becomes enraged and decides to take revenge on Howard. Freon freezes his feet, and the Golem turns on the radiation generator, threatening to expose Howard to the same fate as theirs if he doesn't admit his wrongdoing. Dr. Howard finally confesses that he purposely caused the experiment to make Golem, previously known as Dr. Mike Morgan, radioactive, so that he could have a chance with Freon, his fiancée. However, he didn't anticipate that Freon and 2D Man would also be affected by the radiation. As Batman arrives, the enraged trio attempts to make Howard suffer the same fate as them by turning on the radiation generator. Batman fights them off and manages to activate an air vent to suck up Freon and 2D Man. However, Golem is too strong for Batman to defeat. Golem claims that he was never a true superhero and that real heroes choose to become one, whereas he was just a scientific experiment. While Golem is distracted by Dr. Howard's escape attempt, Batman manages to cool him down with a water hose, causing him to turn into a rock. The terrific trio is gone, and Batman leaves Dr. Howard to his fate, stating that he has no sympathy for someone who betrayed his friends.